Hello there, album enjoyers.
Dearest album enjoyers, we speak to you now very briefly to quickly plug the Enjoy an Album Patreon, aka Becoming an Ultra.
We are plugging Becoming an Ultra. Not the things that you get by being an Ultra, we are plugging the experience of becoming an Ultra.
If that's not the number one reason to become an Ultra, I don't know what is. No. It's just £5 per month. If you've ever listened to this podcast and thought, I like these fellas, I enjoy listening to their 4 free hours of content that they put out every month, I would like to purchase them a pint or a coffee one time. This is a way of doing that. But you get exclusive content in return.
You get exclusive content in return. You get full episodes on albums such as...
recently we did Grimes
Visions, Ed Sheeran's Divide.
Yes, we did Anoni and the Johnsons. We did the Pogues.
And the Pogues.
We did
Rum Sodomy and the Lash by the Pogues.
The Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that was a sad one.
We did Idols, Black Country New Road.
Yeah.
Also,
Ants from Up Here.
You would have access to the Edinburgh Fringe Enjoy an Album live show.
We done a live show at Monkey Barrel Comedy Club. We fucking ripped it and shipped it. People were saying that's...
People were saying it's one of the best things they've ever seen in their lives, including The Godfather. They said it was better than The Godfather.
People actually did say that it was the funniest thing they'd seen at the Fringe, and they weren't even fucking worms, never mind ultras. They were just like, that was really funny.
Yeah, like...
They didn't even like us as people, and they went, that was funny.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
Yeah, so get on that. You also get ad-free experience.
Some of my biggest enemies have said that that's the best thing I've ever seen.
Barack Obama himself was in the audience. Christopher, that was... let me be clear. That was a fantastic live show.
Let me be clear. I hate you. But that's funny.
Zane Lowe has watched it twice.
Zane Lowe, he played it on his... He played the whole live episode.
He dropped it twice in a row.
Just like Barack Obama dropped bombs on various countries.
That was a fantastic live show. So you also get episodes a day early, and you get exclusive access to tickets for live shows when they do go on sale.
Ad-free experience. You don't have to hear this shite.
This shite every goddamn week, and we forget to do a new one every month. So sometimes it's 3 months of the same advert.
Yep.
This has probably gone on long enough. You understand what I'm saying. Become an Ultra today. Patreon.com/enjoy an album. Link in bio.
Just be sound and do it.
Hello and welcome to the Enjoy an Album podcast. With Liam, with and Chris from MacArthur. Boyd are back. The boys are back. It's the two of us. We've had a month basically of guesties. First off, huge shout out to all the guesties. Christopher, you had guesties with Stuart McPherson and Mike Rice.
Did I? Oh, the National?
Yes.
Yeah, that was sick.
And I did guest episodes with Amy Matthews and Crystal Evan. Both my guest hosts were women. I guess I'm an ally. And we want to extend a massive thank you to those for coming in.
Shout out to women.
Doing a sterling job, coming in and co-hosting. Christopher is now back briefly. We've managed to squeeze in a small amount of time to record some episodes together. So the next few weeks is the boys, as you love them, as you want them, chatting about albums in their favourite way.
I feel like we have done them because we've done the Fall Out Boy Patreon episode.
Patreons only, though, over Zoom. So that does exist, sure, but we weren't in the studio. It wasn't a public episode. Now, this is us. This is our true home, right? We are here for realsies. And we're chatting this week about The Killers' seminal album, Hot Fuss.
Hot Fuss. Not the soundtrack to Hot Fuzz by Edgar Wright.
Starring Son Pegg, Nick Frost, Adam Buxton, and
Adam Buxton gets his head caved in.
I saw someone Halloween costume dress as Adam Buxton with his head caved in
with a pyramid head.
Yes, very cool Halloween costume. Did you dress up for Halloween? You're a spooky guy.
I'm spooky, but
you're spooky coded.
To me, I don't know if you'll agree with this as someone who's in recovery.
Right, interesting start.
To me, Halloween for a goth is like New Year's Eve for alcoholics.
Right.
Everybody's spooky, so I'm just going to take the day off. You guys, it's amateur hour.
Listen, when you're in recovery, you get no days off.
Just one day at a time.
One day at a time. That's what they tell you.
Yeah.
So, do you like dressing up Halloween? Ever? Never?
Yeah, I do. I haven't done it in a long time. See, when your grind is set,
when your grind is set.
Yeah, when you're waking up and you're just grinding.
Grinding coffee every day and it's set.
DeLonghi.
Yeah, with Tom DeLong. So enjoy the episode.
Nah, don't dress up.
We're back. This is, the Killers. That's kind of spooky coded, isn't it? Killers. That's scary. Yeah, what's scarier than being killed?
Let's talk about it comes up, I think.
Yes. So enjoy the app. Patrons, you're going straight through to the body of the app. Worms, you've got a couple of cheeky ads coming your way. Chat to you in a bit. Bye. Hey, are your pubes too hairy? Do you need help with that?
Your groin to hairlicious, hirsute.
Is there too much of a positive environment for crabs and lice?
Too much fuzz on your coos.
When you get undressed in front of someone you wish to have a sexual time with, are you embarrassed by the state of your nether regions?
Having an examination done by a doctor and you're self-conscious about how hairy your balls and bits are.
Us too. What a shame there's no solution for this kind of problem.
No, wait, there is.
What?
Manscaped.
Oh my God, what is that? Tell me more.
Not manscaping, not manscaper, manscaped.
Only a stupid person would have called it that by accident 10 times in a row.
Yes.
Only an idiot.
It's the below the belt grooming experience. It's not blade free, it's blade full.
It's bladeful.
It's cut free. You won't
It's
cut
cut free.
I'm literally closing my eyes in the shower in the fucking rain coming down. I shower in the rain and I'm just not even looking, just buzzing.
If you do look, there's a little handy torch which highlights where you're about to trim. Yes.
I've never used the torch. That's cool.
Yeah, it's
attached to the
yes,
the lawnmower.
Yeah, there's a light that comes on that shows you exactly where you're trimming.
So you can do it in the dark with your eyes closed, and you still hit the mark.
You can do it dark with your eyes closed in the shower. It's waterproof. You can charge it using USB-C. So you can unplug your phone if you've got a USB-C, plug it straight into your pube trimmer.
You're on a train.
You're ready to go. You're on a train. Please only use these
your
plug
phone's up to
sockets
75%
for phones, laptops, and pube trimmers.
That's why they have that sign. Don't do that. But what you should
Sometimes I go into a coffee shop and I sit near a plug socket and I plug my lawnmower in so that I could jump into the bathroom, keep it fresh all times. I never want to see a single hair on my balls, otherwise I cry.
Yeah, I've got a cock like a dolphin.
It's
grey.
Grey and endangered.
Just if you want a funny gift for someone, or
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's fucking
useful.
serious.
Enjoy an album. No, what's the code again? Manscaped
Album
20. God almighty.
You get 20%
Can you
off.
believe we get paid for this? Album 20 for % off your first purchase and ongoing purchases, I think.
If you don't have a cock and balls, you can do it on other stuff, but it's mainly made for the cock and balls.
It's got the word man in the title, let's be honest.
Let's not get into that topic, man, but hey, it's good.
It's good stuff.
The pants are good.
And the underwear, the anti-chafing material is to die for. That's album 20.
Die for it,
Don't die for it.
please.
Enjoy. Thank you. Bye.
You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time.
Having won over critics on both sides of the Atlantic with the sparkling hooks and maximalist choruses of their first two singles, Mr. Brightside and Somebody Told Me, The Killers set out to conquer the world with their 2004 debut album, which paired the pomp of new romantic music with brisk synth pop that recalled arena-level titans like Depeche Mode and Duran Duran. Those two songs were appealingly glammed up entrants in the early noughties return of rock gold rush. Somebody Told Me is a tug of war between Brandon Flowers' insistent yelp and shooting star synths, whilst Mr. Brightside is a broken heart rendered in Vegas sign neon, its giddiness almost masking the tortured feelings at its core.
Now that's a blurb.
Now,
Shout out to Apple Music.
that's a blur.
Shout out to Apple Music on that one.
Out of 10?
9.5 out of 10 for me.
Whoa.
A strong 9.5.
B&M, best new blurb.
B&M bargains.
Wow. This week we're talking about Lip Gloss to Lothario, Brandon Flowers, and his merry men of synth pop demons, The Killers.
Do you think he's a lip gloss Lothario? Do you think he's a big shagger?
He wears lip gloss.
Yes.
And Lothario just sounded nice after it. So I don't really know if he's a big boinker. I don't know if he boinks.
He is Mormon
Well, I mean, we'll get into that. I don't know if he's still practicing Mormon.
We're doing Secret Mormon.
Secret Mormon. Not quite yet. Okay. First off, The Killers. Had you heard of them before this week?
Yeah, I'd heard of them a few times for sure.
What did you have this album growing up? Were you into it?
I think it was in the house. I don't know if it was in my mum's car or it was in my sister's
what a
bedroom.
Damning indictment of the band.
I don't know if it was in my dad, but it could have been my dad's wee cupboard where he keeps all the CDs.
In your dad's. So this is an album that could equally find its home in your mum's car, your dad's cupboard, or your sister's room.
Yeah.
But none of them.
But I think that's a good thing.
Well, it was like, I mean, this is part of the band's, I guess, massive success is that broad appeal.
Your mum could listen to it in the car.
Your mum could listen to it. So, were you a fan of this when it dropped? Your mum could fucking listen to a thing or two by The Killers if she liked, because it's good music. Were you? I'm going to ask you for the third time if you were into this band.
I was aware of them.
Right.
Was never a big Killer's head.
Okay.
Would never describe myself as a Killer's head. I like, in hindsight, I go, that was a good band. I don't know if they were playing a big arena, you know, your Murrayfield or your Hydro or your
Hydro. Your Hydro.
I don't know if I would go see. But if I wandered into a field and the Killers were playing a set, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, the farmer might be.
Yeah,
depending on the organisational skills of Brandon Flowers and his merry crew.
Yeah.
So I actually was a big Killers head. So like, I've spoken before about how when I first sort of found like Radiohead, that changed my own personal musical journey.
You went from being a wee Green Day guy.
No, I was never a wee Green Day guy, but that was too cool for it. I mean, I was into the Killers.
All right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were like, that was my big band that I liked. So this dropped 2004, so I would have been 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Brightside, this album, I was into the Killers and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know, you kind of... let's say, available in a petrol garage rock bands. Do you know what I mean?
The music, not them.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
Not getting shagged in the service station toilet.
Well, you never know.
You never know with these
lip gloss
Lotharios.
Lotharios. So I was heavy into them. I went to see them live at Brixton Academy. Which one of the best music venues in the world, unfortunately, is currently closed due to a crushing accident. And I don't know if it's there was a big crush there recently. And I don't know
who was playing,
what the current scenario is. I think it was a dance act. I think they oversold it. But yeah, so I mean, I loved Brixton Academy, but I don't know what the current situ is with that actually. I actually got in to that gig via the guy I used to work for at West Ham, who was a real fucking wheeler dealer, dodgy geezer.
And your Killers tickets.
Basically, it was like, you ever want to fucking go anywhere, you fucking tell me, and I'll fucking sort you out. And so I must have went on my own, I think. And
bold move for a child.
Yeah. I reckon I would have been 16 or 17 even at this point.
Pat wasn't up for it or something?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was on my own. Maybe not. But I had to go and meet a man, find a man in a high vis, and say to him, I'm Gary's friend. And he went, in you fucking go.
All right then. Any friend of Gary's a friend of mine.
In you go, mate. You walk this way, fella. Right?
You want to see a lip gloss Lothario? You come to me, mate. All right. Yeah, why not?
Put your money away. Meet me at the back in 10.
Forever fucking blowing Brandon. You fucking slag. You fucking slag. You indie rock child.
So I was big into these guys. And
was it a good show?
Yeah, they were just about to release their second album, so they were playing some of the songs from that. They had a song called Bones. Mm-hmm. Don't you want to come with me? Don't you want to feel my bones?
What's the big
your
hit?
Bones, it's only natural.
Wow. What's the big hit for the second album?
When you were young, I think was
when you were young.
Talk like a gentleman.
Did they play that?
Well, I imagine they did.
Fuck
yes.
me, I would love to. Imagine hearing that and it's not out yet.
Yeah.
You'd be like, huh?
What?
I remember when
Lipstick
Frank
Away
Rabbit played fucking Swim Until You Can't See Land, and it hadn't came out yet, and I was like, "This is shite."
What is this? That's the
it
thing.
wasn't.
Sometimes you hear sometimes it takes a few listens of a new cut to like for it really to.
When you were young, not the case though. That's instant.
When I was young, I was much more in tune with what a band were doing. You're right, correct.
When you were young,
so it's easy to sort of see your Mr. Brightside as like this great millennial meme song nowadays. But at the time, I mean, I remember there was 2 music videos for it, and it was new. And it hadn't really broken through.
It wasn't the "Don't Stop Believing" of the millennial set.
Yeah, it wasn't big straight away. It was something that I actually felt like grew to what it is now, which is, it's almost like a mainstay of British culture. Weirdly, it's a big.
Yeah. It's the British national anthem, according to
the British
YouTube.
national anthem.
According to YouTube comment section.
Yeah. So I was into them. Then the Sam's Town came out. I had Sam's Town. I liked it, but then I was also developing tastes.
I remember people being really pissy about Sam's Town, being like, "It sounds like Bush Springsteen."
We hope you enjoy your stay. It's all right. It is a Bruce Springsteen tribute album, but they were pretty much open about that.
Nothing wrong with that either. I think they were just people they were so fed up with people assuming that they were British. They were like, "We're fucking American. Here's the most American album possible."
It's called Sam's Town.
Uncle Sam's Town.
Uncle Sam's Town. So and then they kind of went on that Kings of Leon route of just becoming this big stadium rock band who every now and then will hit out with a very radio friendly song. But album-wise, nothing really is ambitious or
I think they lost a
interesting.
lot of people. And you think so? Nothing's ambitious or interesting.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about some of the things going on in this album, which are really interesting. They've never really followed up on IMO, but we'll get into that. So I haven't listened to this album in a long time.
Before we get to the album, when do you think the drop off occurred? I think it was "Are We Human? Or are we dancers?"
Yeah.
I think a lot of people went, "That makes no sense. Yous have lost the plot," even if that's not true.
I mean, there is lots of you could accuse them of doing a lot of sort of word salad prior to that. I mean, Mr. Brightside, the lyrics written down, I mean, they do tread that line of like, is this like poetry or is it just, garbage talk, What does any of this mean?
What bits in particular do you think is garbage for Mr. Brightside?
Well, what does any of it mean?
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine.
Gotta be down.
Because I want it all.
Because I want it all.
Started out with a kiss, how they end up like this. Do you know what that song's about?
Well, I'm about a breakup, right? But then the chorus, jealousy,
turning saints into the sea. Yeah.
Swimming through sick lullabies.
Yeah.
So
choking on your alibis.
Yeah.
You're fucking lying to me and I can choke on it. You're killing me with your
But
lies.
that's just the price I pay.
Destiny is
calling
Open
me.
up your eager eyes.
Yeah, what's that?
Your eager eyes?
Yeah.
It's like the hope. Do you know what I mean? He's been cheated on, but he's like, "I'm not going to let this crush me forever. And my hope will override your betrayal." It's beautiful.
Right. Okay. You know what? Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. Honestly,
You got me.
you got me.
I think
All
it's
right.
good.
Hey, well, yeah, okay. No, you've made a good case there for
Mr. Brightside.
for the much maligned lyrics of Mr. Brightside.
I think they're good.
Hot take.
Do you know there's never been a single Killers show, even since when they started to today? They've never not played that song.
Well, of course.
But he had that song wrote before the band even started, and he was just like had one song.
Well, it wasn't Brandon Flowers who wrote the song. It was the
guitar guy.
It was the guitarist. So let's get into the background of the Killers.
Secret show. You do it fast and it feels like not show. Got no money, you got that show. Secret show.
The band are from Las Vegas, which is wild, isn't it? No one's from Las Vegas. Who is it? Somebody used to have that joke where they'd be like, being from Las Vegas, that's like being from Alton Towers.
It's funny. I was in Alton Towers the other day. Well, near it.
Really? What? You were near Alton Towers the other day. No, go on, pause the pod. Tell the story more.
No.
Oh, well,
Keep the camera rolling.
The killers can wait. Let's hear about this. You were near Alton Towers.
I was in Stoke.
You was in Stoke. Wow.
Robbie Williams country.
Yeah, okay. And anything, did you go anywhere near Alton Towers theme park? Did you?
I was staying in a hotel.
Right.
And it said
2-hour queue. Did you get the fast pass to your bedroom?
Well, I didn't get the chance to actually go, but I was near Alton Towers.
Oh, right. That's cool. I'm really glad we interrupted the flow of the podcast to hear that. That's good stuff. Fuck's sake. They're from
Have you been near any theme parks recently? I was actually reading Metal Hammer, and the lead singer of one of the bands was saying that she's addicted to roller coasters.
That's funny. John Grant is we should cover in the pod at some point.
Yeah.
He goes to a theme park on his own on his birthday.
That's sick.
Which fucking rocks, doesn't
Yeah.
it? He's like this 40-year-old fucking guy, just like going up
40-year-old gay legend.
roller coasters.
He's just going,
I'm on a coaster in Alton Towers.
that's him going woohoo. Do you know that way people do it?
A roller coaster woohoo or roller coaster boohoo. The new feature.
Nemesis, woohoo.
Yes.
Big Dipper,
I can't
woohoo.
believe we're actually still talking about it.
Splash Mountain, Disneyland Paris, woohoo. Indiana Jones cart in Disneyland Paris
The one that goes backwards at the end?
goes.
Yeah.
Fucking woohoo, man.
That's a big woohoo
What's
for
a
me.
boohoo for you? I don't like the one where it's like a caterpillar that does a figure eight and goes through a big apple.
We're not really calling that a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster, man.
For me, personally, hot take, I'm not reviewing a roller coaster unless it's got one loop. You know? Otherwise, I'm not interested. Yeah.
For the benefit of the listener, that has fried me.
I ain't talking about anything below a one loop coaster. Certainly not in this podcast or any others.
You've been in Las Vegas?
I sure have.
Yeah. Have you told your wee story about the... That sounds bad. You told your wee story?
Told you a wee story, your little story
About taking edibles and the Blue Man Group.
Well, I didn't take any
your
edibles.
friends
I'm
did.
famously off the eds and all of its counterparts. No, maybe I have. We went on a stag do to Las Vegas for my friend Jono's wedding.
Shout out to Jono.
Shout out to a real one. And all of the guys decided to take edibles, which you can legally buy there, and go see Blue Man Group. Being sober and a comic, I went to see Jerry Seinfeld instead with a couple of the other boys.
You had your mind blown by his water material.
Yes. Opening routine about water? Come on, man. I mean, that's relatable AF.
Well drank
He just
it.
drank a sip of water and went, so, water. What's the deal with water? You drink it, you're hydrated. Great.
Tastes like nothing,
Tastes like nothing.
but it can go bad.
Great stuff. Anyway, I wish the boys had just spoke to me about the fact that we're going to do edibles and go to Blue Man Group, because most of them are not drug guys. So they ate too many edibles each first go. Then all of them fell asleep, and then they missed Blue Man Group entirely. And then woke up at like 4 a.m. and it kind of fucked the rest of the holiday, because then they were just out of
Sleep
jet lag and then they were
patterns
reback. Yeah, it kind of fucked things up. Very amusing. Vegas is a fucking crazy place. I can't imagine being from there. Like when I say it's like being from Alton Towers or something. It would be like growing up in Disneyland. Like
Blackpool.
but Blackpool, there's still a sort of realness to it. You know, in that it's
There's a fuckness to it.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like being from Blackpool, that's like being from any kind of tourist destination, whereas like,
I think Vegas, people say like off the strip, you're just, fuck that. That's mental.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and Brandon Flowers from there, and family of Mormons.
I don't know. Shout out to Mormons. I don't know anything about them. Can you break down the beliefs?
So they are, I mean, no.
Why?
Because I can't confidently tell you they're
Have you
in
not seen the Book of Mormon?
I have seen it
Can you recap that for me?
twice.
What? You don't know?
Well, I do. I have an idea, but I don't want to sit here. It's like if I said to you, "Can you define Islam for me in 2 sentences?" Do you know what I mean? Right. Okay. Do you understand how it's a bit more
I would give
troubling
it a
to?
bash.
Right. Okay.
You know
right.
me?
No, I don't think it's a good idea.
Muhammad.
Nailed it.
They worship Muhammad, who's a prophet of God.
So
The Quran. I have the Quran in my books.
the Mormons, though, they are a friendly people, for sure.
They're friendly people.
Yeah, they are friendly.
Did you ever meet them with the wee white shirts and the black
The
ties? And they come up to you?
suits, yeah. I mean, they're the big recruiters. Do you know what I mean? That's a big part of it. They're big recruiting guys, and they in the Book of Mormon they send out Mormons to a town in Africa to basically try and convert the local people to the Church of the Latter-day Saints. They are an intense religion. They are. They're generally paired up with like other young men, so it's quite a strict religious code. And I didn't know that Vegas was like a Mormon-y place. Really, Salt Lake City
Near
is
Utah, isn't it?
Yeah, Salt Lake City is the home of the Mormons. And Book of Mormon is really great. It's very funny. I think some of it maybe is probably aged a little bit badly already.
I think so.
There's some stuff in there maybe that you're like,
What about AIDS?
yes. But also I guess there's some jokes that you're like, well, what is the joke here? Is the joke that saying that sentence in an African accent is making you laugh? Like a lot of South Park stuff,
Okay.
There's a lot of South Park stuff that is aged pretty badly.
You think so?
100%.
Some of it's aged really well.
Sure, but
Like
the climate change stuff has aged terribly, which they actually fucking apologise for.
Did they?
They were like, we were so wrong about, because that was the whole Al Gore was
Man Bear Pig.
Man Bear Pig, this like big fictional, like dreadful creature that was an allegory for climate change. So they've apologised for that. Also, some of their early stuff about like trans people is really, now you're just like, come on, guys. But they're libertarians, right? So they're like, I wouldn't go
I think
to them
they
for all my
nailed
political
Mr.
opinions.
Hanky, the Christmas poo. I think that is a real
That one they were on.
slam dunk.
Yep, for sure.
He loves me, I love you. Therefore, vicariously, I love you.
Brandon Flowers went to Chaparral High School, which I've written unremarkable to it. So there you go.
Visit when you were with your boys?
Yeah, I was there. I took some edibles, he worked in the Virgin Megastore in Vegas. So just a normal Mormon middle class.
Posh people don't work in the Virgin Megastore. They don't work retail.
Yeah, certainly not the one in Vegas.
No.
His bandmate had set an advertisement in the local newspaper looking for a band, basically. Koenig, the other guitarist, put in just an ad looking for someone, and it listed some of his influences. They included New Order and Oasis. And Brandon Flowers was like, they're my favourite bands. So then they met. Koenig then handed him a demo which had Mr. Brightside on it.
Wow.
Then they started playing together. They started playing at open mics locally around Vegas, and eventually they picked up their bassist and their drummer. The drummer, Vanucci, was studying classical percussion at the University of Nevada, which is like a fairly normal university. And he would sneak in the rest of the Killers members to the band room, which they weren't supposed to be in because they weren't students. And that is where they did a lot of their early writing sessions. That's where they wrote Somebody Told Me and Smile Like You Mean It. So all of these little stories suggest not the richest, poshest dudes,
Not the poshest Constantine.
Not the poshest guns in town. In fact, when Brandon Flowers was at Virgin Megastore, the release of you remember the early noughties release of Elvis, the 30 Elvis number ones albums,
Little less conversation,
which had that remix on it.
with you.
The album artwork from that is what inspired the Killers logo, which they still use to this day. The sort of neon lights, which also makes
Junkie
sense
XL for sure.
for
but-
being Vegas. In Vegas, I went to the Neon Graveyard, which is an exhibition of all the old neon signs, which is pretty cool.
It's pretty sick.
So yeah,
Speaking of the album cover, we take a look at the album art and we decide if it is good or bad. What do you think about this album cover, man?
So what we have here, this is like the world's introduction to the Killers. So first off, we have this now famous Killers branding, the neon lights, which makes sense for them being from Vegas. You have 3 buildings that have Chinese characters at
you know
the
what they
top
say?
of them. It's something like construction.
This is in the southern region of the suburbs of Beijing. The characters on top of each building translate to construction material development. I just think it's so beautiful.
Construction material development.
Yeah, because that's like what the whole album's about. You know?
Do you think so?
Construction material development. You know, it's like, what are we doing while these heartbreaks and
What
breakups
are
if we're
we-
not constructing our development?
What are any of us doing if not constructing material development?
And like,
I mean,
on a certain level, it's sarcastic. You know, it's like,
I'm going to call my next whip construction material development.
what do you call my next whip? Works to for MacArthur progress.
Fuck off.
Why? That's good, I think.
Whipster for MacArthur Boyd, surely. Works for MacArthur in progress. I like it. I like it. So I think, you know what, it has become a fairly iconic album cover, I would say. It's pretty simple, you know. It's only the top of the buildings, the Brutalist buildings as well, which I love. I love me some Brutalist architecture.
Did I send you a video the other day
Did you send me a video the other
about
day?
brutalism?
I don't think
Took
so.
a video. I meant to send it to you. It was, I nearly got a hand job in a stairwell of a brutalist building. And every time I see the stairwell, I think, oh, what could have been?
You nearly got a Brutalist hand job.
Yeah, nearly got the most brutal hand job of all time. And it never happened. But now I walk past this stairwell and I just think, shit, man, you should have just went for it.
So what stopped you?
I was like, no, I was too scared.
It's like, no, this is a listed building. What are you doing?
I just thought a security guard would show up with a torch and shine at my face and go, "What's that?" It's my cock.
It's your little pecker.
Yeah, little needle dick.
I'm gonna give this wait.
Woohoo.
A woohoo. It's a different segment. I like the album
It's
cover.
a dream sleeve. I don't know how I feel about the term hot fuzz. Where does that come from?
Hot. Well,
Because we all know about Hot Fuzz, the Edgar Wright film,
yeah, we do.
in reference to the police.
Yeah,
Is that a reference to this, you think? Because it's like fuzz.
I think that is a reference to this. I think that's I think the movie is a reference to this album for sure. Hot Fuss. I didn't see anything anywhere about the origins of the title of the album. Maybe they exist somewhere, but I don't really know. It's a pretty simple Hot Fuss. It's kind of like, you know what it's like? It's like the sort of 2-word fringe title you give a show you haven't written yet.
Yeah, it could be about anything. Well,
Yes.
I hope people make a big hot fuss at us when we put our album out.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess they had 2 big hit singles out, Mr. Brightside and
Well, big in the UK. I mean,
Yeah.
they signed to Lizard King Records in the UK because they made a demo of 5 songs, but they couldn't really. They got a little bit of interest, but they couldn't get a record deal over in the States. So they got a record deal in the UK, and that's why there are 2 videos for a few different early Killers songs because there was a UK release and then a US release after the success of the UK. So Mr. Brightside has 2 videos, and so does All These Things That I've Done. There's one filmed in Britain, filmed on Brick Lane. When they're walking down and everyone's walking behind them, it's kind of like Verve Bittersweet Symphony-esque. So yeah, they I think because of the style of their music was did call back to this 80s UK stuff, they were able to launch here, and then only after that really get some success in the States. But I think it's interesting because around this time, you had, I mean, this is early noughties, right? So you had The Strokes and LCD Sound System, the whole New York indie revival, which then launched later in the UK as your Libertines, who were inspired by them. And during that, when it's like New York cool or Camden cool, you have like Las Vegas Mormons being like, well, we like, UK, we like New Order and Joy Division and the Smiths and Oasis and doing their own thing and managing to become, one of the biggest bands in the world. It's interesting.
That is very interesting.
How that happened at the same time, because they were kind of antithesis to everything
They were
that was
kind of
going
trying
on
to be the
culturally.
Strokes. Well, they wanted to be the Strokes. They said then they had their demos and stuff. They were like, they just deleted loads of stuff because they're like, this isn't good enough. It's not as good as.
Well, they heard This Is It, and then they went back and deleted basically all the songs apart from Mr. Brightside because they said nothing is as good as Is This It, rather. So I don't know if that's them wanting to be the Strokes because the sound is different.
I just wanted to be one of the Strokes. Now look at the mess you made me make.
Do you know
I'm Brandon Flowers.
who played Mr. Brightside on the radio in the UK first?
Yes.
You can have a guess.
Did he play it twice?
He
In a
certainly
row.
did.
Oh my god, you gotta check
Coming up
this
next,
out.
we got this band. Oh, I've never heard them before, but they're bloody great. And their name is The Killers, and this is
The Killers
Mr. Brightside. It's Zane.
sound like they're from
It's
fucking-
Zane Lowe. When Zane Lowe retired from Radio 1, The Killers actually posted, thank you to Zane Lowe for giving us our break.
Thank you, Zane Lowe.
So there you go. So Zane Lowe, we make fun of him a lot, but maybe The Killers wouldn't be where they are today.
Do you know we make
without
fun
him.
of Zane Lowe a lot, and it's because he's a gonk.
Yes.
Because he's a silly Billy.
He's from Silly Billy Island for sure.
Is that what you call New Zealand?
Yes,
That's fucked up, man. I respect
yes,
the people
I
in New
do.
Zealand. I respect them.
So I think one of the appeals of this album early on was like there was this throwback to like New Order stuff, which was like interesting at the time. But also for me, something I loved about it was that you had this like supposed secret trilogy of songs in the album that were a concept.
I had no idea about this I'd never heard about this in any Uncut magazine article or
Wow, okay.
Q magazine or NME.
Listen,
Is this the lore?
on the 100p. This is Killer's Law right away.
This is
So
a deep dive, deeper than a deep pan pizza.
there is 3 songs, right? 2 of them are on this album. One of them's not even on this album, which makes the lore even that much fucking more
It's like in
intriguing and
Dark Souls.
mysterious.
When a wee guy's like, don't speak to...
Coming out of my cage, and I've been doing just fine.
I've got soul. Dark soul.
I've got
but
dark-
I'm not a dark soldier.
Very good. Very good stuff. You know, in the overlap between Dark Souls joke and Killer's humor, you're singing from the right hymn sheet right
I'm
now.
out there, man.
You're absolutely smashing it. So there are 3 songs. There is Bourbon on the Shelf. There is
Which is, didn't make the album.
that's a B-side, right? Bourbon on the Shelf is about a guy, he's hitting the drink because he just found out his girlfriend is cheating on them. Some people think that Mr. Brightside is kind of like part 1B of this trilogy because
Yeah.
it's also about, you know, that. But that is, that's a sort of fringe Killers fans theory.
Maybe that's the bright side of him, and then there is the
Because
dark
he's
side.
maybe because
Mr.
in the
Darkside.
dark side is Midnight Show, which is on the album, and that is
You said this was one of your favorite
I loved this song.
songs.
Midnight Show. That is a song in which he's got his girlfriend tied up in the back of his car, drives her out at midnight. I think strangles her in the woods and then dumps her body in the sea. Okay, my favorite song, 15 years old. And then Jenny Was a Friend of Mine is the song.
was a friend of mine.
That's wrong. And Jenny, there is no victim to this crime. Jenny was a friend of mine. So come on, come on. That is in which the protagonist, the murderer, is being interviewed by the police, and he's saying, "Hey, why would I do that? Jenny was my friend. I would never kill my friend."
Right.
So, and that's what I mean when I say you've got this kind of this pivot from there being a sort of interesting, ambitious element to the Killers into this big stadium rock band. I just can't imagine them doing anything like that now, where you have 3 songs about one thing on an album, and it's a story out of order. One of the songs is missing, and the story is about someone murdering their cheating girlfriend and dumping her body in the sea and then being interviewed by the cops. I just can't imagine.
I think they grew out of that, though. You know,
You think grew
Quite
out of it? So
rightfully.
Really? You don't think it's
Yeah.
good?
No, I think they went, shit, this isn't, just because we're called the Killers doesn't mean we need to talk about killers, you know? I think it's more interesting if you call the Killers and then you talk about being a little coming out of my cage, you know?
Well, I think that I think that's a bit harsh. Actually, I think that is.
I think you're being harsh. No offense.
Which Killer song in the last 10 years have you enjoyed?
Do you know what? It's funny you say that because I remember one of my favorite rock writers, Stephen Hayden, during lockdown was like, Killers have just put an album out 2020 called Imploding the Mirage, and it's fucking banging. I remember going for a walk in Kilgrove Park and putting it on and being like, I don't like the Killers, but this is good.
Right.
I think
Okay.
you should check it out if you get little ping vibes from this. In your groin area, you should check Imploding the Mirage.
Maybe I will. Maybe I should. Maybe I should have.
It's one of those
already.
things where you just kind of assume that they've went shite.
Hey, I mean, I've already spoke to you about Corinne Bailey Ray fucking dropping one of the best albums of 2023.
I remember you telling me that story about when you were just a boy and someone who worked in your dad's work snuck you in to see Corinne Bailey Ray. You want to see Corinne Bailey Ray? Come with me.
fighting this way, mate. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, come this Corinne Bailey way.
Girl, put your record on.
There's a really good line.
Your favorite song.
I like the line in Midnight Show where it goes, I got a blanket in the back seat.
I got a blanket in the back seat.
I said, I got a blanket in the back seat on my mind.
I got a blanket in the backseat on my mind. A little show that starts beneath the stars. Down, 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 down.
I thought it was a blanket in the back seat of my mind.
No,
Which doesn't make any sense. I thought it was a very...
Well, it's classic Killers, not making any sense lyrics. But no, so it's a literal, there's a blanket in my backseat I'm going to roll you up in and throw you off a bridge.
I was like, in my mind, there's a blanket that we're going to make out on.
right.
But like in my mind.
No, she's dead, bro.
It's too, yeah. Now I realise that. Did you know that the whole, it was kind of, did you remember the Dalkeith thing?
Dalkeith?
Yeah.
Dalkeith.
Dalkeith.
Right?
Like,
as in Dalkeith Country Park?
yeah.
Right? Left turn?
Some aspect of the Killers thing was that a girl in 2003 called Jodie Jones got murdered in Dalkeith, and all these songs were like wrote about it. Like these were inspired. These Killers songs were inspired.
They were inspired by the real life murder of an Edinburgh girl.
Yeah, a Dalkeith girl
Wow.
20 years ago, but it was like fresh at the time.
Okay.
And people were like, this is fucked up. And they were in newspapers. They're like, rock band does song from the point of view of the wee goth guy who killed this girl.
Wow, the headline writers were not doing their best work there.
No. Well, never blame the journalist because it's not the journalist who writes the headlines, it's the editor. But yeah, this girl got murdered by a wee goth guy who was a big Marilyn Manson head, and he was trying to replicate the
Friend of
Black
yours?
Dahlia. No, I didn't know him at all. I was
Did I?
10, so I wasn't hanging about with goths.
I think you were hanging out with
Actually,
goths,
yeah, I
when
did
you
go
were 10
see
years
Marilyn
old.
Manson when I was 10, but it wasn't
Yeah,
me.
okay.
And it wasn't anybody I knew.
Leading me sick alibis. This brings me to this week's YouTube comment of the week.
comment of the week.
This is the comment for Mr. Brightside. And it goes
let's
like
hear it.
this. This is from @Weekend Too Short. Isn't it just? 3 months ago. This song hits
Can you
me.
start again? Sorry, I made me laugh.
This song hits me differently now. See, I started to see this new girl who moved in literally across the street from me. It lasted about a week, but a week of non-stop romance and just perfection. I fell in love straight away, and every day it just grew to the point where I felt like everything bad in my life had been worth it to meet this perfect girl.
Then, out of the blue, she stopped responding to my messages, and soon after, stopped reading them altogether.
I got love bombed pretty hard, and I never knew what that was until now. Fast forward to tonight. From my kitchen window, I can see her house, and she's out smoking with a new guy. Then I watched them go inside. I'll be alright, but I understand this song on a level I wish I never did. We got the same comments.
Did you get the response?
There was a number of responses. One just went, "You good, bro?"
One said, oh wait, that's not one. Just because you felt shit for a week doesn't mean anything. What means something is, will she treat you like a king and you treat her like a queen for life? If your goal is just to feel, then great. but consistency is a greater love than your heart pattering in your chest. She wasn't a queen. She was a woman child. Find a queen. Become a king.
Find a queen, become a king.
Which is something that you would get told at the start of a Dark Souls game.
Weekend Too Short, really going through it there. It's the bit where she's lighting a cigarette outside and you're like, wow, he must be listening to Mr. Brightside going, oh my God, they're even smoking. This song is about me.
And he's taking a drag. My stomach is sick, but she's touching his chest now. He pulls off her dress now.
What do you think happened after a week? Do you think maybe that she moved in, found this guy a bit flirty, had a bit of fun with him, and then was like, oh God, I live here. This is probably not a good idea. Then ghosted him? Or do you think that this is like a lot in his mind? Maybe they were never really having this romantic thing.
I think it was a Joker scenario.
Mate,
The
yeah.
film Joker has that subplot where he is in love with a woman, but turns out he's
There's
just
something
living
really
in this.
unsettling about someone
I
who
don't like it.
there's something really unsettling about someone who finds crime like funny, you know?
The idea of a humorous Joker
Yeah, some
who
sort of
jokes,
a guy
but he's
jokes,
actually committing crimes.
but he's actually committing crimes. I find that I just find that really unsettling.
That makes my stomach turn. One thing I was going to say, maybe I would say after a week, maybe she visited his house and saw his Funko Pop collection.
Right.
Because that's not something that's happened to me, but I could imagine it happening to
How many have you got now?
I'm not a good at it, man.
Because there's one backstage at the Glasgow Glee that you refuse to take home.
Well, Jimmy Ferguson tried to gift me it, and I said no.
So I wonder how many of Christmas. It's almost like. Do you remember there was that Ua Woolly campaign around Scotland where there was like statues of Ua Woolly everywhere, and you had to try and collect them all? Is there a discarded Christopher MacArthur Boyd Funko Pops scattered around the country?
Only in my dreams.
There's different green rooms. We should get some for here really for our bookshelf.
Yeah, I think you want me to get the Linkin Park one that you gave me.
Yeah,
I said, like, oh look, that's funny.
Yeah, you should bring that through. I think. If you could bear to be a part, you can't find it.
Moved house. I don't think it made the trip.
What the fuck? That was a present.
I didn't like it. Also, I didn't bring some of my longer books. Some of the longer books.
Books.
Yeah. Some people have bought me these long fucking books.
Did you throw away?
No, I didn't throw anything out. It's not thrown away. It's just not picking it up when I leave a place sometimes. When I move house. So some stuff you've got me.
You lived a little life there as well. You're the most ungrateful son of a bitch ever. There's 2 gifts.
That I didn't want. How can you not see this?
It's just so ungrateful. It's so rude.
What have I got you? Lovely things.
Yeah.
I don't get anything in return that's nice. Just hate.
I got you
Don't try and push glasses up your nose when you don't have glasses.
Cool Iron Maiden t-shirt.
Oh, I like that. I wore that recently. I was near Alton Towers and I wore that.
You were near Alton Towers?
Yeah. I was near Alton Towers.
What songs do you like from this album? I love Midnight Show. I love all these things that I've done. Was like, whew, that was a big cut as well, wasn't it?
All these things that I
remember Live Aid. Do you remember that? They did the newer Live Aid. Live 8.
Not late.
And there
was
was like
80s.
4 or 5 different people name check that song. In their songs, they got I got sobered, I'm not a soldier into their own songs. Chris Martin did it. A few other people did it.
Yeah.
That's quite a big, you know what I mean?
They
It's
were.
quite a compliment.
This album was like mega album.
It was a mega album.
What songs do I like? I love the bass line, and Jenny was a friend of mine. It's like it's like an Iron Maiden bass line.
Reason for this crime. Jenny was a friend of mine. So come on, oh come on, oh come on. And of course, we have somebody told me.
Somebody told me that you had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend that I met in February of last year. It's
The kind of new romantic 80s throwback to Lola by the Kinks. It's sort of like gender.
throw gender out the bloody window for these boys.
Somebody told me that you had a boyfriend that looked like a girlfriend that I had last year.
Do you not think it reminds you of Girls and Boys by Blur?
Girls who like boys who like boys who go.
Girls who
yes.
like girls, who like boys, who do girls, who like boys. Always could be someone you really love.
So there, I think there's like maybe 3 or 4 big hits on this album, right?
Somebody told me you had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend that I met in February last year. Imagine some cunt said that to you.
What the fuck, bro? You start throwing hands. What the fuck? You fucking mind your own business.
I'd be fucking jabbing cunts if they said that to me. Excuse me. Nice to meet you. B,
Somebody told me.
somebody told me that you've got a
You
boyfriend.
walk backstage and there's a comic who like you've seen their name but you've never really gigged with them.
Seen their posters on walls and
Hey,
venues.
hey man, hey dude, I heard last year that you were dating someone who looked like my ex who's a different gender. What the fuck are you saying to me, bro?
I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah, I am. And fucking what?
shaggers do it.
I did love glamorous indie rock and roll when I was like 15.
Indie rock and roll for me. That's the song I was trying to do earlier.
Right, yeah.
Jenny was a friend.
Yeah, okay. It's kind of Queen-esque, that isn't it? It's I'm not so keen on it now. When I was like 15, I
Reminds
thought
me
it was
of
really cool.
like Oasis.
Well, yeah.
You're a rock and roll star. Rock and roll star.
But I mean,
Did you hear the hangout where he was in a synth pop band? He wanted to start a synth band and then he went to see Oasis. And he went, I need guitars.
Yep. So one of Oasis's many crimes.
Did you hear? He was trying to like play Oasis in a wee room. And then after this came out, he was doing a show and fucking either Liam or Noel came backstage and said, been trying to figure out the colours to all these things I've done. Just right colours. And he was like, fuck, a year ago I was sitting in a bed sit
Yeah.
in Las Vegas trying to learn this cunt's songs. Now this cunt's trying to learn my songs.
Wow, that's cool.
It's just what rock and roll's all about. Glamorous indie rock and roll.
You know, one thing I love about glamorous indie rock and roll is the tattoos it inspires. We're 2 guys reviewing tattoos. We're gonna Google image search and then we'll choose if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boohoo. You're judging the ink, yeah, that's what we'll do. Sleeve sleeve or face tat, something or wing bat. Big skulls or wing
And listen,
bats.
Winged bats.
I
And
think-
you might think that's unnecessary.
I think
All
it's
bats
stupid.
are winged.
Yeah. Winged backs, I think, makes more sense because people have wings of tattoos on their backs.
Okay, I actually never heard that live. And the truth hits you.
Yeah.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Big skull at wing bats. We picked the design. Is it bad or just fine?
Bad or just fine?
Dragon or a skull? Pretentious or dull? You cannot hide.
You cannot hide.
What do you think it is?
That's what I always forget.
You cannot hide. And
Why
we
would
will
they
decide.
hide?
If they're scared of people criticising their tattoos.
Oh, okay. They're
You
hiding
cannot
from the
hide,
truth.
and we will decide if it's tattoo
Tattoo
woohoo
woohoo.
or tattoo boo. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So Brandon Flowers does not have any tattoos that we could find, but so we found instead
So in this,
a fan favorite. So this
fuck me.
This is someone's tattoo on their back. A big Killers fan. They have Mr. They have Mr. Brightside tattoo. So what they have is they have a guitar.
Imagine being a tattoo artist for this.
And it says Mr. Brightside and big lyrics. And then on the body of the guitar, it has the entire lyrics to Mr. Brightside.
What's your issue with this?
Well, first off,
Not to be too.
the guitar only has
aggressive.
4 frets.
Yeah, so you could only really play.
So ukulele.
It only goes up to 5.
Yeah.
It's a truncated guitar.
Also, it's just like such a big body of text that you can't really.
Too long, didn't read.
And also, yeah, TLDR for sure. And also, it says it. I mean, much like the song, because the song repeats the chorus. It has
They
it.
haven't done that.
They have. Look, I'm coming out of my cage. I'm doing just fine. And then it's down. I'm coming out of my cage, and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because. So they've got it all twice.
Started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this?
Yeah.
Started out with a fucking tattoo idea. How did it end up actually being tattooed on you? How did nobody go, let's not do that? Just get a guitar on your fucking back.
Mr. Brightside. I never. Bing, bing. What do you think it is about this song that made it such a big millennial anthem.
I think it's what I was getting at earlier on. It's about the fact that we've all been cucked. We've all had our heart broke by people.
But do you think it's as deep
But
as
then
that?
the chorus is like,
Because it's quite an unusual song, really.
how does the chorus go?
Jealousy, turning saints into the sea.
Choking on your
It-
elbows. But it's just the price I pay for loving in the first place. And that is the thing. If you do get your heart
Do you think
broke,
it's relatability that makes it so big, though? I wonder if it's something else. You know what I mean? There's like a simplicity to it that is, I guess, makes it universal.
I
It
think
is.
it's well crafted. I think it's perfect.
No, I'm not saying
Do you know what
simple.
song
I'm
you
not
ripped
saying
off later?
basic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's some things can be simple and be good. Do you know what I mean? Like I think there is a simplicity to it. I mean, this is why at the Hive at midnight when they play it, everybody there is singing the words along to
That's
it.
really what I think of when I hear this song. Is I think about every single indie disco.
Yeah.
This is like part of the rock bit towards the end when they've played. Well, I mean, this is just in 2011 when I went to go to this
I haven't
stuff.
been to an indie disco for
Yeah.
a very long time.
I don't know if they still play this at the Hive at a certain time.
They probably don't. They probably
You're
don't.
nodding? They do. Okay,
They
fine.
do. Okay, right.
They do.
Well, according to.
But when I was a wee guy, and listen, this is going back. But when I was a wee guy, they would play
Listen.
Wheatus,
Oh, yeah.
Teenage Dirtbag.
They play Teenage Dirtbag.
They play Gold Digger by Kanye West.
Right, problematic.
A wee bit.
Lots
People
of little
were-
white Scottish guys singing all the words.
I ain't saying I'm all this type of chat.
Yeah. I ain't saying I'm all this type of chat.
But they ain't playing with no broke all this type of chat either.
Yeah.
They would have all that malarkey, da-da-da, for tailies, of course.
Of course.
But this was like, and then when I went to Magaluf, every night would be the same shite.
Yeah.
It was the same playlist, and it was just all your friends, da-da-da, jumping up and down, your hands around each other, going, "That is just the price I pay."
I think it was that crossover thing as well, isn't it? And that
it
if
was
you-
cool enough to be rock, but it was pop enough to be pop.
That's it. If you are an indie kid, then you like this, and you
Love
were there
guitar
from the
music.
start because guitar music. He's wearing lip gloss.
Playing the lip Joseph Goss over here.
He's he's in this video. He's wearing this like sort of tailored, weird coloured 3-piece suit. It's set in a brothel. It's like it's indie sleaze coded. Whereas if you are just like a pop person, it's catchy enough that you and your goth brother can sing along to the same tune.
It's interesting because I was thinking about this. I remember reading this thing a long time ago about the aesthetics of heavy metal with the spikes and like the skulls and stuff, and how the aesthetics of that were adopted by pop stars in the 80s. You'd have somebody with like big heavy metal hair and
Yeah.
like spikes and stuff. And it's interesting because the music sounded so different, but the aesthetics were very, very similar. And I think the exact inverse takes place with the Killers and My Chemical Romance. Because really, this is like, you're listening to Black Parade, this is the exact same type of music. as this.
Absolutely. You know what? I did actually think that when we were, what's the, is it On Top? Or maybe there was one or two other songs. I think maybe Midnight Show as well. They did sound a bit MCR-ish. They're only really a short step away from each other.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Whereas the audiences that they were playing to were vastly different.
Yeah.
The demographics with which they were being sold to, I mean, I'm sure there are many people listening who enjoyed both bands, but like they were marketed in different ways.
To me, Killers are the Burton's menswear My Chemical Romance.
Interesting. And I mean,
That's a compliment.
yeah, but I mean, that's a bit. I think that's a bit. They're more H&M, I think, than,
Yes,
than
the
Burton's.
H&M, man.
Burton's his dad. And the
H&MCR, you might call them.
Thank you very much for that. Good stuff. Did you enjoy listening to this album this week? Had you ever listened to the album? Have you ever sat down and listened to
sat down
it?
in my mum's car at some point and really cranked this out.
Yeah,
Did I enjoy it? Yeah, it was brilliant. Great rock album.
yeah.
I love Smile Like You Me. See that sound for it's like. Should I do that again?
Like you mean it.
There is, it's a line where he's like, someone is calling my name from the back of the restaurant. And there's a wee robot voice.
Yeah.
Like, why would somebody be shouting your name for a restaurant?
The restaurant was actually in the back of his brain.
Shouting at you from a
Well, there's a
restaurant
thing,
in the back of my mind.
There is a thing about the album that is like all of the vocals kind of went through the same. There was basically this new type
Processor.
of like vocal
vocoder.
vocoder, like this new effect that the producer had just learnt and then put over every single track on this album.
Right.
So that's why it all sounds like he's sort of singing it through a megaphone.
But that line in particular, from the back of the restaurant. I also like the line where he goes, someone is playing a game in the house that I grew up in. I think it's cool to let Stephen Hawking come in and do guesties. I think it's sick. Not enough people were getting him in. Sorry, it's funny there. I think that song's class.
I think...
So what I was going to say is glamorous indie rock and roll. I don't really think it is indie rock, man. You know?
It's not really,
I think
is
if
it?
they
It's
called
big-
it glamorous emo rock and roll, I would have got away with it. Is this emo?
No.
Oh, I think it is.
No, come on. This is... it's too fun.
Okay.
You know, even though the song's about murder and stuff, it is like... And it's sad.
Even though you just admitted that it sounds exactly like My Chemical Romance and you stated that My Chemical Romance was emo, even though I don't think it is. You don't think this is emo?
But then that same argument takes away from what you're saying. If you're
Yeah.
saying that this is an MCR isn't.
It's mutually assured destruction.
But I mean...
Is this emo? I'm not playing for keeps.
But it is, it's like stadium rock, isn't it? It's like early stadium rock before they filled the stadiums, you know, and it's the same thing in the Kings of Leon, I think.
It's very gay, it's very class. I love it.
Yeah, I've enjoyed listening to the album again. I hadn't sat and listened to it for a very long time, and Mr. Brightside is so omnipresent that it actually is rare to sit down with a nice, good pair of earphones and turn it on and really listen to it. And it is a phenomenal song. That's why it is... that's why it's so huge. That's why it's still, you know, on 1 billion plays on Spotify. You know, that's why your mum knows it. It's like we all the way back when we spoke about the Ronettes and Baby Love. Like these everlasting pop songs tend to be that way for a reason. There's something about the mass appeal with music that I mean, it has to be crafted in a certain way and it has to touch people in a certain way. Have you ever heard? And I listened to this morning. And it made me sad. McFly's cover of Mr. Brightside.
No.
Oh my God. It's so bad.
Is it? What did they do wrong?
It's like a bad wedding band
Oh.
just playing the song. There is nothing to it. It is, it's like you find out your wee brother's in a band and you go into the garage and they're playing and that's what they're playing.
What was this, a Live Lounge thing or something?
They released it.
That?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We need to do McFly soon.
Why? Oh, I think there's
We do a
someone.
podcast about music.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So no, I enjoyed listening to it. I enjoyed being reminded of the. I mean, I think it is a pretty consistent album all the way through.
I think it's a little bit first half heavy.
The thing is, the second half of the album is Midnight Show. Everything will be all right, and on top, I like. That's the really new
I think
ordery.
the run of Mr. Brightside, Smell Like Mean It, and Somebody Told Me is
Yeah. Okay.
just.
I mean, and
sensation.
then all the things you've been done.
I mean,
Okay,
it's
all right.
good shit, isn't it?
That's
really
four
good
in a row. That's 4 big fucking, and I reckon they play all 4 of those live still to this day. And then the rest of the album, I wouldn't be surprised if none of them are on it. So maybe
They'll play indie rock and roll as the fake encore. They go, last song of the night, indie rock and roll, and then it's a break. Then they come
Do you
back
think
on, and then
they've had
it's,
like 8 albums now? I don't think Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll is making the current set list. Personally,
we should listen to Imploding the Branch. It's supposed to be really good.
yeah,
It's supposed to be class. I remember going, this is fucking good.
yeah, that Corinne Bailey Ray moment.
I was just like,
I know, I
this
get it.
is the.
I
It
get
wasn't like, they were doing an Afro punk, spoken word, fucking fried garage rock sound. It was like, I do like them.
The Killers are back.
Yeah, and I think they get a wee bit of a bad rep, from people like myself who consider them the audio equivalent of Burton's Menswear. I think there's a lot more to them, and I just, who wouldn't want to do that? Start a rock band and then your first album's one of the greatest albums, and then you're,
They do a new Christmas song every single year as well.
Do they?
They love Christmas.
Mormons.
These motherfuckers love Christmas. So every year they release a new Christmas song.
Have you heard of them?
Yes, there's the one about don't kill me, Santa Claus.
Don't kill me, Santa Claus.
They're the Killers. They're
Oh,
obsessed.
yeah, man.
Come on.
Fuck.
So let's do the playlist. Every week we add some songs to an Evergreen playlist managed by Mega Slippers. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, Mega.
So which song from this would you like to add to the playlist?
I'm gonna stick on "Smile Like You Mean It."
Okay, I'm going to add on Midnight Show. Which song inspired by a chat would you like to put on?
Can you stick yours in?
I'm going to put on a song by New Order. It's called Crystal. And in the video to this song, on the drum, you know, where artists put the name of their band on the drum, the New Order are in a fictional band in this music video. And that fictional band is called The Killers. And that is where the Killers got their name from. And the song Crystal by New Order is a banger, so that is going on the playlist.
Damn. I remember our indie rock band from, I believe, Wakefield, that my big sister was into. They had a song about a murder that had just happened.
Right.
And people were furious.
Okay.
They were called Black Wire. And they had a song called Hard to Love, Easy to Lay, that I think wasn't about the child who got killed. But I like that song. It goes, hard to love, but easy to lay. It's very, very indie sleaze.
Yeah, sounds it. Okay, that's going on. Good stuff. Thank you so much for listening to the Enjoy an Album podcast with me, Lynn Widnell, and he, Christopher McArthur Boyd. We hope you've enjoyed our foray into the Killers and Alton Towers this week. We'll see you next week for more musical chats and general funny banter.
If you have any Alton Towers memories, stick them in the comments section. Right? Because that's where new feature.
Feature.
Have you been near a theme park recently? Peace and love in the new M&D Neon.